you on my head right here in the middle.
Can you do it?
Jesus.
You were going to do it, though.
Hey, you're a freak, no. They did some freaky things on national TV. High five me. Richard, man, yeah, you know what's going on? This is BDL TV at the finest, brother. You look shocked over there.
Richard Gaisford.
It's the New England. Yeah, we're coming. You're going to be whining. I'm going to give you a Guinness. Yeah.
Actually,
maybe I can bring him up on stage.
Richard Gaisford, has he ever bumped and grinded? I don't know.
Maybe I can bring him up on stage.
Richard, come over.
Maybe I can bring you on stage. Come over.
I'm going to make the rhythm.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the rhythm.
Let's start the
Richard needs a bit of spice in his life.
Carnival, yeah.
Okay.
We want you to bump and grind, Dickie.
Okay.
Come on.
We're bumping and grinding together.
Put this on your head.
Oh,
Can somebody pop this up?
thank you.
I got that just in case of Brexit.
I haven't got my dancing shoes on.
The worst, I won't
Spice.
Right.
Give him some spice.
Okay.
Let me do the beat. Bum, bum.
I'm trying to fix my my microphone.
Do you think I won't touch it?
Okay, ready.
Okay. Right, you tell me. We've got some music.
2, 1.
Stand strong.
Cool it down. Cool it. You gotta fan me.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna follow you. Okay. Fan you.
Fan me like this.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I'm hot.
Oh,
It's
you
gonna be a
are
day.
hot. Okay, sure.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Ready?
Go on.
Cool it down. Cool it. You gotta try- you gotta
Oh,
do like
okay.
that.
I've
You
got to
gotta
do this like this.
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Cool it down. Cool it down. Cool
I'm going to carnival.
Me a cool it down. Me have to cool it down because.
Are you partners? Are you not partners?
I mean,
What's going
a
on?
private life is a happy life, guys, I must say. But
many
Megan,
times have we said that?
if you're watching this, Meg, I do adore you and I think the world of you.
But she's with me now.
But me and Lee. Yeah,
sorry about that.
Lee, everyone, you just move to every next girl. I'm joking.
I know, I got used to it on this show.
But you say private life. She's not on the show. You're on a dating show and you're in a very public place having this snog.
I know.
Was it the ITV summer party?
Oh, wait, are you talking about the ITV summer one or the finale?
And we're talking about this.
Oh, yeah, that was... OK.
Where was that? Oh, yeah, that was.
That was at the finale, weren't it?
Yeah, that was at the finale.
Oh, OK, wow,
Okay.
that's
Yeah, it was a great party. It was great fun.
We're milking it. We're running it over and over again as if it was a...
Can I get a clip of that?
Slog.
Yeah, it was nice kiss, to be fair.
Being in reality, there's a lot of, you know, some people like it, some people don't, but I just hope everyone can watch the show.
It can divide opinion. How do you cope with that side of it as well, Jen? Because there's a lot of focus. I mean, there can be a lot of love, but there can be quite a lot of hate as well, can't there?
Do you know what? I'm a very positive person, and I do think, you know, it's not about perfection, it's about purpose, and I do think I've done a lot for people, especially girls with the plus-size movement. I like to spread a lot of cheer. I give people a laugh, you know, and that's kind of what I'm about, so...
And we need a laugh, don't we, at the moment?
Yeah.
Looking at the front page of The Sun, you mentioned the plus size. There's this miracle flab jab they've got it. I'm not sure that's necessarily the way the doctors term it. And it's saying, well, we've all been waiting for. You can lose 10 pounds in just 4 weeks. Now, you've talked about having jabs. Is this the one, do you know?
It's fantastic.
You've been on it, have you?
But like everything, and I just want to say, you know, so many people think there's going to be a miracle cure. There isn't.
How much weight have you lost?
I lost 2 stone, but I'm not going to lie, I've put a bit back on because I've been on holiday for, like, weeks and weeks and weeks. And I've totally been overindulging. But... these things do work. Before I went away, I was taking it every day. I did lose 2 stone. But don't expect a miracle cure. You cannot inject a jab and then be eating burgers and chips and pizzas. You have to apply yourself as well.
So what do the jabs do? What do they do for you? Do they curb your appetite? Or?
What it's got, I suffer with PCOS, so I'm prone polycystic ovary syndrome.
Right.
So I've always been prone to gaining weight because I have more insulin in my body than someone else. My pancreas can't break it down. I'd be a whole day explaining.
The one thing we didn't know much about was your internal organs, but now I feel like we do.
Now it's an exclusive. But what this has in it is something called seraglutide. Now, seraglutide is what they give to diabetics to help control their insulin.
Right.
So if you suffer with that, it really helps because it controls your blood sugar.
But like you say, it's got to be part of a holistic approach, doesn't it? It's
all
not just
these
about
things,
that.
you know,
Really
drinks, and they're only there to aid you. You have to get your mind right
And
before
advice,
anything
medical
else.
advice particularly. with it too.
Definitely.
What would you say was her best characteristic? How would you sum up that?
Just how caring she was, really. It was never about herself. She just cared about everyone else first. She put everyone before herself all the time.
Unfortunately, just when life was looking great, you two were together.
Yeah.
She was providing for her boys. Disaster struck, and ultimately fatal disaster that she had cervical cancer. What was that time like for you two, first of all?
Well, obviously it was horrible. It was the worst time you could possibly go through, to knowing that it was terminal, and like obviously deep in yourself you don't believe it. You still think, no, it's obviously not going to happen. Something's going to happen. She's going to pull through, but like deep down you do know that eventually this is going to come to
And do you think it?
your life.
Do you think it helped her to be able to kind of go through that last act of her life in public, to play it out in public?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, her whole life, from when she went into Big Brother, was every single second was in the public eye. That's what she knew, and that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to live it out. She wanted to show everyone, make everyone aware of being tested for the cervical cancer, not leaving it too late. She just wanted to make as much money for her boys. So.
And she had a massive effect, didn't she?
Huge.
They called it the Jade Goody effect.
Yeah.
I think it was 500,000, 500,000 people
All those young
went
women
in
got
those
checked.
weeks afterwards
Yeah.
to get checked. And actually, it slumped dramatically to a 20-year low now. So we kind of need to hear that message even more.
And I
don't
think
we?
things like this programme would help that, because I've got so many messages in the last week of how many people saying, oh, Jade's helped me so much, because of Jade I've gone and got checked and I've found this and blah, blah, blah.
And if she was able to look down now and see us having this conversation and know that this documentary series was going out, what do you think she'd make of it 10 years on? What do you think she'd think about it?
I think she'd love it, of
Would
course.
she?
Yeah, of course. Still getting spoken about 10 years on and still massively known and whatever. She'd love it, of course.
So you see him coming past in the car, and why were you running after him? Were you hoping that he'd stop and give you an autograph? Or
Yeah,
what?
so when he drove out of the training ground, I thought that I could get a picture with him.
Right.
When he was driving, I ran, and without looking
Head down.
in front of me, I was like that. And then when I looked to the sides, this lamppost was in my face, and I just bounced off it.
Did it knock you
They
out?
do come out of nowhere, don't they, those lampposts?
Did it knock you out?
Yeah. It was like briefly.
Oh,
And then you came to on your back on the pavement.
Yeah.
So what happened next?
I had a really bloody nose, and then
And did you kind of totter back home?
Someone took me home back to my front garden, and then I just saw Salah's car, like
Coming back?
by our house, and then I was still like spaced out kind of, so I didn't know like what was happening, but I knew it was Salah.
And he got out of the car?
Yeah.
Go on,
and
then.
then like I gave him a hug, and then we got a picture together.
What was that like for you, to go from the wilderness years to then be back on top? How did that feel for you at the time?
I mean, I read the script, and I wasn't crazy about the script. And I went into my once or twice weekly meeting with my psychiatrist, and he said to me, if Darren Aronofsky offers you a movie, do it. And I'm going, well, you know, because my psychiatrist works with a lot of heavy hitters in town here, and he knows more than I know about what's going on. And so I met with Darren, and I watched a couple of his movies, and I liked his movies, and I liked the fact that when we were meeting at a restaurant we never met before, and I kept looking out for like how in my mind I pictured he looked like. So I'm sitting there and I'm having a coffee, and I see this guy get off a bicycle with a green helmet on, and he's walking towards me like he's got like the biggest balls on the planet. I'm going, yeah, it's got to be him.
Mickey, we're certainly running out of time here. I just want to ask you, once you made The Wrestler, what was it like to be back at the top?
Yeah. I never ever really felt like being back at the top. I never really felt like I accomplished that. It's like my psychiatrist said to me, you were all the way up the mountain, and then you dove off head first. You know, so when you're out of work for a decade, you don't, and then things start to happen again, you don't feel like, I never really felt like I accomplished anything much.
How has this been for you, seeing this sort of being reenacted out in many ways on the big screen, you know, for entertainment purposes in Hollywood? Has it been a soothing process for you in any way?
No, to the contrary, it's been quite miserable. Whether it be in motion pictures or in books, most of the creators are trying to rewrite history, even making it more salacious, if one would think that was even possible. Quentin Tarantino was the first to come to the family members and speak to them and take our feelings and our knowledge as well into consideration.
One of the things that struck me about what he said he wanted to portray about your sister is that the woman was not defined simply by the murder that brought her to so many's attention in such a horrific way. I wanted to show her alive and her life beforehand, and you got a chance to go to the set, I believe, and see Margot Robbie portraying your sister. What was that like? What did you feel?
Actually, Margot did an outstanding job. At one point, when I was on set, I had her in my ear, on a mic in my ear, and I actually shed a tear because she sounded just like Sharon. It was very, very interesting. It was a bit an opportunity to visit again with the live Sharon, not just a Sharon on the film screen.
Because you gave her, I believe, you gave Margot some of Sharon's jewellery and a bottle of her perfume. Was it almost a strange feeling of wanting her to be alive in that mixed feelings way?
No, not at all. I'm very clear on the fact that my sister is dead. It's purely speculation. Margot didn't state how having those items made her feel, but I'm sure it helped her feel quite close to Sharon.
Well, joining us from Rhode Island is Judge Frank Caprio and his son, David Caprio, who was there in the court, and I believe the judge went on to mention him as well later on when he was talking. So good to see both of you this morning. Frank, why do you think that what you said has caught everyone's attention too much? I have my theory. I think it's because we rarely see judges being emotional in that way, and I think it's something that you're known for, isn't it?
Well, I think there's so much dissension in the world that people expect that everyone's going to be very strict law and order. I've said many times that I don't wear a badge under my robe. I wear a heart. And this is a classic case where to render a decision based on a strict interpretation of the law would be manifestly unjust. And so I did what is right. You know, and I think taking all of the attendant circumstances into consideration instead of the strict interpretation of the law is just a human thing to do. It's exercising some understanding and some compassion and some sympathy for people who appear before me.
And David, we should say this is part of a TV show that you guys are part of in America. What was the thought process behind that? Why did you think that it was important to put this on TV and and to let people see this?
Well, good morning, Adel. It's really not a TV show. What my dad allows to happen is to allow cameras to come into his actual courtroom. So what you're seeing is unrehearsed and completely spontaneous. And the message that he sends from the bench in acting that way has really resonated around the world. And us being on the show today proves just that.
It's very interesting, isn't it? I believe when you were talking to the elderly gentleman, you also brought in your son later on and mentioned how you'd like to take care of him. So, David, is he as good a dad as he is judge?
He drove us here tonight, so yes, he's still driving me around.
So I'm guessing that's a yes.
Right?
You yourself...
No, but seriously though, what he does on the bench is just like he is in his everyday life. Now that his courtroom is really a worldwide sensation, you know, he's approached all day, every day for people who just want to tell him the impact of what he does that has on them.